in the case of trees, I think that particularly should let the other, there should be an acknowledgement among the board.
Okay, I have a question. See, I didn't cut you off, Joe. There was a tree that came down, and Frank, I believe that you were gonna call the town.
He did,
What's that?
he did.
Okay,
The town
that's
came.
fine, but now, did we get a price on that? And was
We
that
don't,
written to the board?
we have an agreement with the town that we don't need to get a price
didn't
from
know
them,
that.
but we did get a price. We knew it was gonna be $225.
I didn't know that. That was never brought to my attention. That was never spoken to. I mean, so now, you just throw me out there and just say, oh, there you go.
That's not what happened at all.
Okay.
I've told over
You have
time
your
and time
position, you
again.
have what you saw, and when I have mine.
Okay, so
Sean,
John,
there's a tree down in Van Brunt. Okay, no problem. That's the one person who knew. If I didn't own that, I would say I would have called, I was at Dockety, I would have had.
it's not
this-
the price. What you're missing the point of is that
Okay,
you're not
I would
letting
have told you
anybody know
so, but
what
you
you're
never
doing.
give me a format to
Okay, so
follow.
going forward, you're gonna let us know, because you don't
Absolutely,
communicate now.
I would
Okay.
love to, but now I know what I have to do.
Okay.
So don't sit there and throw it at me like you can't do this. Okay, fine. So let me go full and skin my knees, and then you say, well, you should have done it this way. Well, thank you for letting me know that.
Multiple text messages and emails telling you what you have to do, and you ignore it and do what you wanna do anyway.
That's
Or
not
you don't
true. I'm
answer
not
them.
ignoring
Or you don't
it.
answer
I'm
them.
not ignoring you. Every time there's a
Okay.
tree down, I answer you, D.
Okay, no, but after a couple
D,
of
you have your
times.
version of not
All
mine.
right.
Okay, so this
So
is
there's
garbage
two-
then. It's gotta be wood.
There's only one version, that's the way.
That's
that-
voided, the format's right there.
But now we have to approve that.
Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me, Joe, he said what, there's only one version?
There's only one version, which is the way it needs to be done.
Absolutely, I agree with
She's right, if
you.
you didn't know about it, that's,
Okay.
you didn't know about it, but it's the way that it needs to be done.
I agree with, so if I was told, listen, you find out what this tree's gonna cost and how to remove Johnny, get back to us. D did not say that to me, otherwise I would
She
have
doesn't have
done
to say, every time she.
even once.
Multiple times.
So I said, it's okay, it's an emergency situation. Okay, fine, just get the tree moved. People gotta get home. Okay, fine.
These are the prices we got from Clovis. This breaks out his bill that we originally had. On November 6th, clean up fallen branches near Village Hall, Adams and Birchwood near near Fort Washington, Meeks Fallen and Sassafras, as well as broken maple and birchwood observed while addressing punch list provided. Tree was removed, is approximately 45 foot tall, broken and hanging, $950. October 30, clean up fallen sassafras tree in Washington near Meek residence, $450. October 29th, clean up fallen tree on Van Brunt Manor Road near Bayberry, $200. Removal of fallen oak blocking access to Walnut Beach, $200. That's $950, $1,400, $1,600, $1,800. So it's less than the original?
Plus, it was 2,200 before.
Okay. So you got $400 not close to
It's not the bill amount, it's just letting everyone know what's happening.
Right, duly noted.
Okay.
it. We're gonna have to
Gonna put those through for now.
put these through for Natalie and change that, and then we'll cut a new check and void the other check.
Okay. Okay, so this is the final version of the welcome packet. So the only thing they need is the 2018 calendar, which we're waiting until tonight, so we still have one, so we can put it in. I can email it to everybody so they can take a look at it, but if you want to pass it around,
Now that's gonna be printed on here?
yes. Well, it's gonna be printed on, yeah, it's gonna be printed this way, so everyone can see it. And it's like matte, it's like a, like a photo paper.
So which means that this basically gets outdated every year.
It would be, if, No, I thought the first year that we'd send them to everybody, I thought it'd be,
All right, and then we order.
and then we can order less, or make changes. This will be changed too, the board stuff will be changed each year.
Yeah, very nice. So we mail this out to everybody now.
Okay. Yeah, we can make changes for next year. At least it's a start. Okay, last month we talked about the dock inspections. I spoke to Ted, and he thinks that the planning board should work on changing the current law so that it could be, like we said, maybe every 5 years or every 3 years, since it's so expensive. But he felt that it, you know, they should be checking for safety, they should be checking if there's damage after the winter. So, you know, he feels it's necessary that it gets done. If Mike did it every other year, or Mike did it the third year, and then the company did it the fifth year, but he feels if, you know, and I guess he's speaking for the planning board, they're building a dock, they should be able to have it inspected. So, I'm gonna give this back to the planning board and have them work on it, and then see what they come up with, okay? Okay. Boat dinghies and community plots, well, community plots is not an issue anymore because it's snowing and it's all covered, and they're not clean, so it doesn't matter. Dinghies, what happened? I know, I don't know where you were in November, but you were concerned that the commissioner should take care of it. So
Well,
what I did
you have
is,
the list, you said that the list was up there of all the dinghies, and then, so the people are supposed to be removing these things, right?
right, what we came to a conclusion was that you were going to manage the dinghies being removed. I didn't hear from you.
You came to
Surprise.
the conclusion, what
No.
I'm saying is.
No, this is what we do every year. They
I
have to remove
understand that,
December
but you're
1st.
saying that you charge a meeting, so, but, am I in charge of the boat, the beach as well?
Mhm.
I am, I thought I was roads and maintenance.
No, what
This is my
happened,
question.
I sent out an email back in
Right.
October saying, and November, saying that, you should manage the boats being removed, and then Cindy will contact the people that are still there and whatever's left, the
So you had, so then the commission went
But
down
you didn't
there?
answer me, just so you
No,
know,
wait,
didn't
one
answer
second,
my
but-
email. Okay, didn't answer my text messages, and then you, after, I wrote to the, can I finish talking?
Go ahead.
I wrote to the
I'm trying to
commissioners.
just take this in.
In November, I put it up on Facebook, I wrote to the commissioners, because I didn't hear from you. I asked them to manage it, which they did fine, each week they gave
Okay.
Cindy a list of who was there. Cindy called those people. By the time December came, you then sent me an email, which I didn't hear from you for the whole month of November, so not sure where you were in November, but didn't hear from you. And in December, you sent me an email saying, I'm not sure this is my job, it should be the commissioner's job.
I asked for a
And
complete
what did
list of my
I,
duties.
can I finish talking?
Was I wanna correct you because I asked you for a complete list of what my duties were, because I don't understand.
Right, which I
how
sent to you.
Taking care of the beach is.
You're not
over the
taking
roads.
care of the beach, you're just
Okay.
making sure the commissioners, you're just managing them, you're the higher than the commissioners. So all you're doing, and like I did, is I just sent an email saying, can you please look into this, and they took care of it. So I don't understand, like, where that communication, and I said to you, just send them an email. You said to me the commissioners should do it, yes, they do it every year. Okay?
So, I understand that, but why does that have to do with beach, have to do with roads and maintenance? That's
That-
my question,
You,
that's what I'm
okay, so
saying.
you took over, I just want you to know, you took over the job that was Harry's job, and that
Okay.
job was removing the dinghies on December 1st, okay? You don't have to remove them, just how to manage them getting off the racks. But when you don't communicate for 3 or 4 weeks until after the date, and then you're upset because
See, I'll
you
look
didn't
back my
send-
emails and I'll see exactly what was the whole month of November. I'll go back and look at all of it tonight, because, I don't want you to blow this out of proportion. as
I'm
far
not
as-
blowing out of proportion, I'm
Okay.
just letting you know, that's
Okay.
the issue is that I send stuff to you, you don't answer me. Every Monday I say this, what was happening with these projects, I don't get an answer, you don't come to 2 meetings, and I ask for an update, I don't get it 2 weeks later. Okay, I'm just saying, the
You
communication
know what,
has to
because
be
honestly,
better.
our
Just let's
emails going back and forth, they're
communicate
so negative, and honestly, it's just tumultuous at best.
better. A list of things to do is not.
No, but you know, with one thing, I'll say one thing, I'll ask you a question, I'll get literally a 3-paragraph, and half it's, and this, I've got emails from the board that are lies, flat out lies. So I don't respond good with negativity, so, and you
So
expect
just
me to sit here.
communicate better
Can
then.
we-
No,
can
but
we
wait a
agree
second,
that you guys
what
are
I'm
gonna
trying to say
meet
is-
afterwards? Well,
Yes.
this seems to be a personal
It
matter.
is.
It's not a personal
It's a
matter, but I was.
problem.
It is a personal
Jeff,
matter.
I just, let me please
No.
finish.
No, we have a room full of people, we have an agenda.
Well, maybe this is a good thing, so that you can see what's really happening behind the scenes.
Yes,
Right.
if we
Well,
had
that's
all
right.
the
What should
time.
we have?
You don't mind. What's happening behind
Yeah,
the
why don't you, well, we're gonna get to you
I mean,
next.
it's going
We'll
back
be-
and
we'll
forth.
be able to
You know what,
like
that's
that.
just, what I'm saying is,
You
I'll
guys
sit there
need
and
to
let you
spend some
question, and I'll
time
get.
discussing.
We need to
with
talk
the
better.
issues.
If
That's
you're,
what I'm
if
saying.
you're a
John,
ready person, you
John,
need to
I agree
answer.
with
Stop, just stop.
I agree with you, Dave. Jeff, I'm agreeing with her, all right? Don't tell me what to do. I agree with you, and I really look forward to that. I really want that. But
Then you
I'm not
have to
gonna sit
answer
there-
emails
Okay,
and
but
text
we're not, like I
messages.
said, if I'm sitting and getting ridiculed and lied about in this thing, I'm like, what's the point? And it's really, it's disheartening. It is, it's disheartening, and it lets the air out of my tires. And I really don't wanna work like that. I don't.
Well,
really want-
well, you don't finish things on time, and you don't complete
See,
projects when they're done.
Okay.
Point
Thank you.
taken.
Okay.
You're keeping it going.
I'm just saying,
You're
I'm
keeping
just,
it going.
I'm trying to be
John,
positive and sometimes
enough.
it's hard, okay?
John, enough.
Oh, come
I'm
on.
not gonna, Jim, I'm not gonna be berated by this, I'm just, I wanna
I'm
set
trying
the
to
level
get
of
this,
square.
stop.
Don't touch it.
Takes two to
I'm
do
just trying
that.
to clear the air, that's all.
Meet after the
I
meeting
wanna be
and you
positive.
can discuss how this is gonna proceed. Simple.
That brings you.
No,
You're number 15.
You're number
yeah, so,
15.
and I'm just thinking
So
how I
it's-
could follow that.
Yeah, well, you know
Um,
it.
So one thing that I wanted to mention to the board was we had the first meeting regarding the dock application. It's a village dock application before the planning board. It was specifically supposed to be for design questions. There were a couple things that, one or two things that were asked about. I think they had to do with basically bubblers and access around the back of the dock. And there'll be a hearing, a more formal hearing, which was gonna take place on January 29th.
Okay.
And again, the village is the applicant. The planning board was all there, we had a stenographer, and everybody was heard. That wanted, as far as I knew, it was heard, it seemed.
Do we have a stenographer for the 29th, Jeff? Stenographer for the 29th?
You can get it now.
Yeah, I think she heard that it was moved to 29th, she probably knows what we should. There was an application before the ZBA, which was decided last night that affects the village. It was the application for, I think it was Voglia.
25 Walnut?
Yeah, 25 Walnut, and was an application for a fence variance, and also variance for a patio or sports court, whatever you wanted to call it. And I think I haven't seen the written decision, but as I understand it, the sports court or the patio was approved and the fence was denied. It affects, it has a potential of affecting the village because we had the agreement with a cross easement with the owner. And I think, as far as the patio was improved and the patio was the encroachment
Mm-hmm.
on the village property, so it'll probably be okay, because that means the zoning board approved the patio was as I said, the patio was the thing that was encroaching on the village property, so we'll somebody's gonna have to speak to Bogley and see how, Dr. Bogley, and see how that, the denial of the fence affects anything if it does. But meanwhile, the village has the drainage equipment, the drainage structures on his property, and he has now the patio on the village property under that agreement.
Can we change the fence or no?
He can change it and make another application. That's up to the vice from his attorney. And the attorney for the ZBA, there's a separate attorney working with the ZBA on it, so it's up to them.
Okay.
I'd like to see if we could figure out, I'll talk to Jeff and see if there's some kind of structure that we can agree on to get these local laws tied up, because I think probably if I could meet with one or two people and just sit and go through it, I mean, I'm happy to devote the time, and we could wrap it up, so to try to get them before the board. And I don't think, I did the law for parks this past month, which is before the board tonight. And I don't think there's any, court was canceled. There's no news from court. And
Outside counsel.
we have outside counsel handling one matter. He's trying, it's my understanding he's trying to get an inspection for access. And then there's a couple other enforcement matters that I'm working on with Mr. Schaefer, who with Mike is doing a great job.
And we haven't done any bills for outside counsel yet, right?
Nothing I'm aware of, no.
Are we gonna pursue a warrant? We don't know.
I'm not sure. It's gonna be up to the outside council. So there was a question at the planning board meeting that, whether since I'm the attorney for the planning board and also the attorney for the village, whether I should be sitting with the basically sitting with the planning board at the meeting. It probably is, it's something that I'm thinking about. I'll have to talk to Ted
Okay,
about that and you, but, if possible, I'd like, if it comes up before the meeting, in 2.5 weeks, I would like to have the ability, at least for that meeting, to have somebody else
yeah,
sit there, that's,
Okay.
if it, I'm thinking about it. If that's okay with the board. I'll let you know if that's okay. Does anybody have any questions for me about anything going on?
okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Did have one question about the zoning board. If there's somebody wants to foil for something, it's at a public meeting, it's a public hearing, why does it have to be foiled?
I don't know.
There's a planning board meeting, just because we were talking about that before, but, because if there's a lot of foiling going on, and everything's getting, and the place is being inundated with foiling, and there's public information. So now, if we're at a public hearing, there's
We
information that
used
wants
to
to be seen, if there's information at a public hearing now that, it has to be foiled for?
We used to be inundated with foils from one or two people that were submitting them. Are we still?
Here and there.
But when you say public information at a ZBA hearing, how
Well,
do
yeah,
you?
but see, like, there's information, you wanna see something, for instance, with the doc hearing. Now, if you wanted to see something, they were told they had to foil for it, well, that was in a public hearing. So isn't that
How do you
information?
know what they were told? You weren't there, right?
Why are they recorded?
Recording.
Okay, so what actually happened,
I was just curious, that's all,
are you asking me or are you asking the public?
I'm asking you.
One of the-
I'm asking you, but like I said, I have another question about a foil too, because I sent the foil.
Okay,
in.
so what actually happened was, there was a discussion at the planning board meeting, about whether or not somebody could come in and see the application.
Right.
And the result of the discussion was that they were told that they could come in and view the application without filing a FOIL request. If they wanted to take a picture of the application, or if they
Right.
wanted to get a copy of it, then they would have to file a FOIL
Okay,
request.
all right, just switch
But
it.
they were, the person was told in the discussion at the meeting that they could come in and look at the application without filing a FOIL request.
Okay. Like, for instance, now, as far as foiling, like, there was, Frank, you were there, as far as foiling, you told me that there was 2 complaints made, and that there was a letter from the Department of the Bureau of Investigation. I foiled Joe for a copy of those to give to my union. Joe received it and forwarded it to you, and I was at the meeting, and I sent that to you October 6th, it was emailed. And from what you
What are you
said,
talking about?
because I'm just
But no, what
I'm
foil
trying to
he's
clear some
talking
things up with the attorney, just I
Oh.
want to ask some questions, that's all.
Do you know what foil he's talking about?
No,
No.
no.
I
Well,
don't-
that's,
no,
well,
you-
okay, well, give me a second on this one, Dee, I'm speaking, can I about to talk?
No, I'm just saying it's
Okay.
confusing, we don't know what he's talking
Okay, that's fine, because that was a FOIL request, because I have to straighten this out, I just want to clarify it. So I sent the email to Joe, October 6th for FOIL of the view of the complaints, because I need information. We sat at that meeting on foiling, and I never heard any response for 5
You know,
days.
can I just say,
I'm just
what
trying
you're
to-
saying is just like, I don't understand anything you're saying. The words that you're saying are not
What I'm saying
connected.
is I foiled for 2 complaints that were against me, right? And
Complaints that people made?
against me, correct.
Okay.
And a letter that was received by the Bureau from the city, okay? And this has been going on for 3 months now, and I didn't make any waves about it, but it's gotten to the point where I came in, I asked Joe, he says he received it, but he forwarded it to Frank. And not only that, but if you foil for something, for a piece of paper or some sort of public information, you're supposed to receive it within 5 days that they received it, correct?
That's not true.
Is that what you said? That's what you, remember we're at a meeting, we went through, you gave a whole meeting, a whole speech on it. So you're not, if I put a FOIL request in, I'm not supposed to be notified by the clerk that they received it within 5 days?
That's not what you just said. You just said you're supposed to get it. I'm supposed.
Or I'm supposed to
What you
receive
just said was, if I
notification?
put in a FOIL request, I'm supposed to get it within 5 days. That's exactly what you
Okay,
said.
let me go back, let me rephrase that, I apologize. So within 5 days, I should receive notification that they received it, is that correct?
Within 5 business days,
Okay,
excluding weekends and holidays,
okay.
you should receive notification from the village that the village received your FOIL request and the date that your request is expected to be filled.
Okay, so that was back October 6th when I sent it. And then I came in, I spoke to Joe, I said, listen, where is this at? And he said he
When
forwarded it
did
to Frank.
you
October
have to
6th
connect
I
everything.
did this because I'm trying
When
to
did
find
you
this
come in to
paperwork.
see Joe?
Today, a week ago and then today. I said, have you found this information out? He says, no, I forwarded it to Frank.
And you haven't gotten any response?
I have not
yet?
response that he received it, but it was sent on October 6th. I'm asking you because you're the one that gave the speech about foiling at the Hilton. I was there with you.
Okay.
I'm just trying to clarify this because I didn't receive notification that they didn't receive it. I asked Joe, Joe said that they have no communication, so whatever paperwork he has no access to. Is that
Okay,
correct?
so, see, what, you should have received a notice from the village that
Okay.
we received it
Which you did.
with a date that's the expected date that you'll receive the document, the response,
Okay.
if it exists, or if it can be released. Some documents can be released and some documents cannot be released. And that's basically it.
Okay. So now Joe says that he has no access to information, so I do have to foil Frank, but he's the clerk.
No, you foil the clerk.
Okay, but he just told me he has no information, he has no access to Frank's
Well, he
information.
may not have it, it may be part of an ongoing investigation. There are certain things that can't be released pursuant to FOIL.
Okay.
Or either the document itself may not be released, or portions of the document may be released with redactions. I'm not sure, I have to look into what exactly you're talking about.
Okay. I'm trying to figure it out too. There was a letter stated from the city, from me, and I was just trying to figure it out. I'm bringing this up now because I'm just trying to clarify that, just to find out where I'm going with this paperwork that I need to hand into my union.
But there is an ongoing investigation. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that the story with this particular case is that there's an ongoing
Okay.
investigation, however, that's not the formal response. I'll look into it.
Okay, so I need to, because I need to give them a response saying, well, where's this paperwork, John? We need to see it. So I said, well, I have FOIL for it. So I'm gonna tell them that there's an ongoing investigation, so therefore I can no longer provide that.
No, I just didn't say that.
And I'm saying that to them. I'll say that I can't give it to you because it's under investigation, right?
No, I
Because-
said I said I'll look into it.
Okay, I appreciate it, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the only other thing, anyone else have anything else? Okay. E-code. So I called them today and it's $1,195 a year just for them to maintain the E-code. And it's about another $2,300 to $3,000 to do new code changes once a year. They will put them into an amend part when we pass them. And then they do the final version, they send it to us for approval and the price. And then once we pay it, they add it into the new law. So we didn't know it was this much money. So we're gonna add this into the budget for next year. But I just wanted to know, right now we get 10 copies of the code. Can we cut that down to like 3 or 4? Who looks at them? I know Cindy looks at them, or we're in the building department,
I don't have one, I go online.
online, right? Frank, do you need one?
Online.
Online, okay, so should we just we just get 1 copy?
One copy.
Okay,
The reason why they're giving us 10 is because they made the original book in 10.
okay,
We originally had 10 copies of the Big Blue Book. So they're giving, all of that stuff was supplied by E-code, so they're giving us 10 copies to augment those books that they originally gave us. We're supposed to update them.
okay.
Every trustee was given one, building department was given one, code was given one. I had one.
Back in the old days when no one had a computer.
Loosely.
Yeah. So it's just, I know we're doing we're cleaning up a lot of the codes that haven't been changed for years, but with each one, the price, it's a lot of, they don't have a set price per one. It's like they determine how much work it is to change it, and then they send you a bill of what it's gonna be. So we have to, we have to prepare for
That's a
that.
monopoly.
It is, it really is. I said to her, well, is there any other plan? She's like, no, that's really
And
it.
they don't take into account that smaller entities, like a small village, pay a disproportionate amount compared to the.
Yeah.
I would
I don't
get-
care.
I would get 2 because you need one for the clerk and one for the building inspector.
Okay,
Building inspectors often like to put post-it notes and things all over their version. And he wouldn't want to have that, so I would get 2.
okay. So now, Joe, we paid the bill in August, which was $1,195, but did we get the bill for the updates yet?
No.
No, okay, so that's coming, that's gonna be a couple of $1,000. So, okay. All right, anything else? Okay, do I have a motion to close the work session?
Motion to close.
You guys want to keep going? Yeah, okay, so we already did the garbage bids. Can, John, pass that down. Scan it and send it in. Public hearing for a new local law, village parks. So the purpose of this is to, protect the aesthetic qualities of the village of Poquott and its residential properties and environment. Do you want to talk about it a little bit, Chris? Because you did it?
Sure. Put this law together to maintain our pristine parks. At times, we see the parks falling into disrepair or items that are there that shouldn't be there. And putting this law into play, we thought was going to keep the parks protected. You know, such a great asset to the village. We should have some protection.
Okay. Would anybody like to speak to public hearing? Alicia?
I have a question. I see, I guess it's,
Name, address?
Alicia Killock, Washington Street. I guess it's part C about firing, discharging, or having a gun, pistol, torpedo. Have we had incidences with guns, pistols, and torpedoes?
Only torpedoes.
Why are we including, what's the purpose of having that in the law?
The way things are going, yeah.
Could somebody answer that?
Yeah, I think it was just to cover fireworks and any kind of item that might be explosive. And I think
Well-
that's why we put that, that's why it was there.
Well, the New York State law, correct me if I'm wrong, it's against the law to use fireworks, correct?
Yeah,
But residents use fireworks all the time at
I don't
the
know
beach
how
and at their
that,
private
I'm not sure what that
parties.
has to do with this code. That sounds like a different issue.
No, I'm just asking, why have this if we can't enforce it? Because does code enforcement have the ability to enforce them?
Yes,
Firearms?
if this is good.
Yeah, so something out here.
Code
Yes,
can
yes.
come up to me and ask me if I have a right to carry?
I don't think that, again, I'm not sure what, this is about the Parks Code, not your
This-
right to carry. It's
But it's
about.
here in the Parks Code, that's why
I
I'm
know it
asking.
is. I know. But I don't understand why you're turning this into a Second Amendment rights issue.
Because it's here saying I cannot carry a firearm at the beach. But if I have a right to carry, how could you limit my Second Amendment right?
Is that how that reads? I'm sorry, am I reading this
Yeah.
Because it
wrong?
adds possession.
Yeah,
So if
adds possession.
she wants to carry a gun to the beach.
I think it would be a case-on-case basis.
I mean,
Could you speak to me? I can't hear you.
I would imagine that it would be case by case, so.
So
So who gets to determine that case?
this, we may have to adjust this a little.
yeah,
after
that's
this.
fine. Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
You are.
That's fine.
But the rest of it I think is really good. Fireworks and everything should be in it.
But back to the fireworks, a couple of times I've made complaints because a lot of the residents here, their dogs get very, very sick and trembling when residents have fireworks in their yards. And some of the residents sitting on that board, their fireworks going off in their yards, we even posted on Facebook, and nothing was done about it. So I just want to make that statement that it just seems kind of odd to me that we have a New York State law regarding fireworks, but people sitting on the board are more than happy to post their blowing fireworks off on Facebook.
Any other comments?
Ron Cagle, 10 Maple Avenue. I personally would feel more comfortable if people at the beaches were not allowed to carry guns with them, regardless of the Second Amendment.
My name is Francis Finneran, 17 Chestnut Street. Relative to the firearms, what happens if you're duly licensed to carry one? In other words, you have a lawful carry permit for a concealed firearm. I don't understand the prohibitions. I can understand you not want people to bring rifles and so forth down to a park facility, but I don't understand the addition of more restriction than is already in place by state, city, and federal government. So I'm not saying it's not a good idea to control the situation, But by the same token, if someone is licensed and authorized to carry a firearm, not for anything, there have been instances in the past where it may not be a bad idea if somebody had a firearm to prevent further carnage. So if you have somebody who is duly licensed, authorized to carry a firearm, I don't understand the prohibition, and I think there may be enough restrictions with these other municipalities and their lawful restrictions on those firearms. This is maybe redundant and too restrictive. Just my view.
Yeah,
Gary Garofalo, 14 Highview. Yeah, peace officer status, sure. He's right. I understand that too. Although I know my brother-in-law, when we went to the beach, he also at the Rockaway many years ago, he checked his piece at the precinct, the local precinct, as not to bring his firearm onto the beach. As we went to Rockaway Beach many years ago, so he didn't have to bring it on. However, I understand he wouldn't have to check his piece on a Saturday because the village office is closed here, which I have,
My brother may have been doing that
I
to
understand what you're saying.
safeguard a weapon.
But
too.
he's a police, that's right. But as a police officer, and a treasury officer,
I'd just like
He would
to
have a strategy.
perhaps provide some context.
yeah, police officer.
Garrett,
Sorry.
we had a similar discussion when we were looking at the maintenance of property law. And what I had said at the time was that a local law is kind of like a roadmap, and it kind of puts down on paper what is important to us. There are larger laws, state laws. There are other laws that are already in place that govern a lot of the things that we pass. But it basically says, this is what we would like to see happen. And I think that probably any gathering of people anywhere is going to have some people who say people should have guns because you never know. And there are other people who will say, including law enforcement people, we feel a lot better if people understood that we really prefer not to have guns down in this particular area. And people don't complain when the police prohibit guns in stadiums. And people in New York City, law enforcement people, have their firearms, but they have very strict controls. What we're saying is, this is something that we would like to see as a way of emphasizing that our beaches should be safe, welcoming, for our kids and so on. If somebody brought a gun down to the beach and was asked by somebody to put it away or whatever, we would hope that there wouldn't be an issue, because we would be saying to them, we would prefer that you not have it. If you said, I have a license to carry it, and that is my right, and you dug in your heels, you would probably prevail. And nobody was going to make a big deal about it, but we hope you wouldn't.